You don't want to kill other people, right? Well, according to the CDC, there has been over 1.4 million deaths from the coronavirus since November of 2019. The coronavirus affects everybody differently, but I'm sure it has affected you in some way. Everybody knows what it is, and it affects everybody's daily life. I am credible on this topic because when I go in public, I wear my mask. My friends wear their masks, and my family wears their masks. I have been personally affected, and so has my family and a lot of my friends, as well as just people around me. Due to the fact that I have been affected, I have done extensive research in order to ensure that when I go in public, I am infecting as little people as possible, and I am protecting myself the best that I can. In order to do that, I wear my mask everywhere I go. The spread of COVID-19 can be lessened if people who wear their masks when around others and they socially distance whenever possible. Some of the main points that I will be touching in this speech are: what is coronavirus, how is it spread, and how does wearing a mask help to lessen the spread and maybe even get rid of the virus one day? So what is the coronavirus? According to Hopkins Medicine, the coronavirus is a virus that turned into a pandemic as it affected multiple continents and it affects people all around the world. It is one of the first pandemics in a very long time. One of the biggest problems with this pandemic is that there is no vaccine, there is no cure, and there is no way to help people. It is diagnosed through a laboratory test, and the results usually take approximately 2 to 5 days to come back. During this time, you should be quarantining and not seeing absolutely anybody in order to ensure that even if you are negative during that time, you are not getting people sick. The way that you can lessen the spread due to the fact that there's no vaccine is by wearing your mask and maintaining your distance whenever possible. So how is it spread? This virus is spread through water droplets. These droplets come out of your mouth when you talk, or when you sneeze, or when you cough, or when you do anything involving your mouth. When doing this, the droplets go directly onto the face of the person you're talking to or onto surfaces. When somebody then touches the surface and touches their face, they can therefore also contract the virus. When you're wearing your mask, the particles are going onto the mask or going to the inside of your mask. So therefore, it is not reaching the person who are you talking to. Or if you're touching a surface, it is less likely for you to be touching your nose and your mouth if you have a mask on. According to the CDC director, Dr. Redfield, we are not helpless in COVID-19. Cloth face masks are one of the most powerful tools to prevent the spread, especially amongst communities and friends. One problem that there is with the coronavirus is the incubation period. Although you may be positive, you may not show symptoms for 1 to 2 weeks after your exposure. During this time, you could be going in public, going and seeing your friends and family, seeing your grandparents, seeing elderly people, and infecting them without even knowing it. That is the scariest part because although you don't know, in a week when you test positive, you look back and realize, wow, I could have gotten a lot of people sick during that time. So although you're not sure if you're positive, wearing your mask is a way to ensure everybody's safety. According to an NPR article, when you're talking, droplets are splashing out of your mouth more than you even imagine, and they're going directly onto the faces of people around you. Never have we worried about this or thought about this as much as we do now because it was never an issue. But now, after seeing studies and tests done, we realize how many droplets are actually spread. Some direct evidence of face masks working comes from a Nature.com article, which discusses 2 hairdressers in Missouri who tested positive for coronavirus. Recently, after they tested positive, their families also tested positive. However, their nearly 200 clients that they had seen in the past 2 weeks all tested negative due to the fact that not only were the hairdressers wearing their masks, but the clients were also. A simpler analogy to understand is the pee analogy, which you may have seen. Say 2 people are running around naked and one pees on the other one, they're clearly going to get wet. If the person peeing is not wearing pants, but the person being peed on is, they're going to get wet, but their pants will soak up a lot, so they will not get as wet, just like your mask will soak up a lot of the particles, which will not get into you. However, if both of the people are wearing pants, then when your pants whoever's peeing's pants are wet, the other people will not get as wet. Just like if you're both wearing masks, the particles will not spread as much. It's not only important to protect yourself, but it's important to protect others. You may not be considered high risk, but your grandparents could be, or the elderly people at the restaurant that are sitting next to you, or even somebody who looks completely healthy right in front of you could have an underlying health condition that you don't know about. The coronavirus, it affects everybody differently. Some people end up in the hospital, some people lose their life, and some people don't have any symptoms at all. An article on Idle Words states that wearing a mask should be like wearing a shirt. You don't go into the store without a mask, and you shouldn't go into the store without a shirt. We all remember the days when we were able to go to class in person with all of our friends, or go out to eat, or go to the mall, or be around as many people as we wanted and not even worry about who was there. We all want to return to that day, and in order to return to that day, we need to wear masks in public. Even when there is a vaccine, it is highly unlikely that there will be 7.2 billion vaccines. So we need to continue to listen to the CDC guidelines and wear our masks and do whatever we can to protect not only our health, but the health of everybody around us.